Hey folks, Yishai Fleischer here. I'm the international spokesman for the Jewish community of Hebron, and I'm about to take you to one of the most unique and important biblical shrines in the world. They call it the Tomb of the Patriarchs, but that's a mistake, because it's actually the Tomb of the Patriarchs and Matriarchs. It's the mamas and the papas of the Jewish people, the founders of the biblical story. The whole essence of the book of Genesis happens right here. Let's go in together. So the Bible tells us in chapter 23 of the book of Genesis about the purchase that Abraham made where he was going to bury his beloved wife Sarah. Later, he was buried here, Abraham. After that, Isaac and Rebekah were buried in this sepulcher. And finally, Leah and Jacob, the first Israel. And that was about 4,000 years ago. So this is a 4,000-year-old site with a building that's 2,000 years old. And the Jewish people have been praying here all those years. King David prayed here. Everybody's always prayed here. But you know what? There was a time where it wasn't so simple. In the year 1267, the Muslim Mamluks came to town, and they told the Jews, get out of the building. Well, what do you mean, get out of the building? Our parents are buried underneath this building, and this is a Jewish building built 2,000 years ago by a Jewish king. And there was a staircase here, and the staircase, they were only allowed up to the 7th step, and they weren't allowed any further. And Jews came here and prayed here in the cold and in the heat for 700 years. 700 years of tenacity, of saying we belong inside. These are our mothers and fathers. We'll never let go of their memory and their heritage until they were liberated and allowed to go back in. Still, Jews come and pray in this place because they remember the 700 years of prayers and tears that sanctified this holy place. Here at the Tomb of the Patriarchs and Matriarchs, you have Sarah next to Abraham. Right from the get-go, it was all about these people coming together to give birth to a nation. So people come into this room, and what do? They have life cycle events. They have a bar or a bat mitzvah when a girl or a boy becomes of age, or they have a circumcision ceremony. And even I myself got married in this great space, and my wife sat here getting prepared for the wedding with Sarah, with Abraham, going into the wedding canopy. So towards the end of the book of Genesis, we learned that Jacob buries his wife Leah here at the Tomb of the Patriarchs and Matriarchs, not Rachel. Rachel is buried at the tomb of Rachel in Bethlehem, which is about 20 kilometers north. And the reason for that is that Rachel died in childbirth in Bethlehem, and maybe Jacob was just too brokenhearted to bring her here. He just couldn't travel with her. Or maybe because we learn in the book of Jeremiah that Rachel refuses to be consoled. She continuously cries for her children. But this place is a place of consolation. It's where mothers and fathers are together. So here's Leah, and then you'd probably guess that across the way is, let's go over there and see, the patriarch Jacob. There he is, the patriarch Jacob. Now, Jacob was dying in Egypt, and he says to his children, don't bury me in Egypt. I don't want to be buried here. I want to go back to the place that Abraham purchased for full money, and he was buried there, and so was Sarah, and so was Isaac and Rebekah, and I buried Leah there, and I want to be buried in Hebron. And here he is, and here's another hall where we get that family feeling. Now, Jacob is not just Jacob, he's got another name. That's the name of Israel. That's the super name of the Jewish people. Jacob is like the mild-mannered reporter. When he tears off the shirt, it's Israel underneath. And so this place marks that Israel, that nation that has so many stories about it, so many issues throughout times, because this is a chosen nation, a special nation that God chose to bring God's light into the world. That's Israel. And the beginning of that are here at the Tomb of the Patriarchs and Matriarchs. And people come here from all over the world to pray, to connect, to spill their heart, and to get strength to continue the chain of the matriarchs and patriarchs walking in the path of God. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed your tour of the Tomb of the Patriarchs and Matriarchs here in beautiful and ancient Hebron. It is a very ancient place, and you've got to come visit it. You know, it's a bucket list dream to come to the land of Israel, and you're certainly going to go to Jerusalem, and you're certainly going to connect to the place where 2 temples existed, but don't forget to come visit us. The mothers and the fathers are waiting for you. Shalom.